Hello FPL fans and welcome back to the channel. Today we have got the transfer traps for FPL Gameweek 15. This is where we look at some of the most transferred in players for this game week and highlight some options that a lot of managers are transferring in but may not be the best players to bring into the squads. This is essentially a steer clear list where a lot of managers are transferring in these players, but we're recommending 5 options which you guys should steer clear of. Just before we get into the video, please consider liking and subscribing to show support for the channel, and check out ServerScore as they have provided the stats for today's video. And with that being said, let's get into it. So taking a look at the first transfer trap of Gameweek 15, it's Roberto Firmino. Firmino has seen 60,000 managers transfer him in this game week, making him the third most popular player to bring into the squads. This came about as he scored 16 points in Gameweek 14, totaling a score to 64 for the season. Firmino is coming in at £9.2 million with a fairly low 3.3% ownership, but this has increased by 2% this game week. This season, Firmino has scored 5 goals and 3 assists, but has had 8 blanks so far, showing that he is a bit of an inconsistent performer, which is just not ideal for an FPL asset. Firmino has taken 30 shots this season, which is okay, but compared to Salah with 47 shots and Mane with 40 shots, those two are just getting way more chances than Firmino, and it will be better value just to go with the Salah and Mane to confirm those points. Also, Firmino plays in quite a shallow position and just doesn't get as far forward as the likes of Salah or Mane, proving to be better Liverpool assets. Moving on to the second transfer trap, it's Jan Bednarek. Bednarek has seen 28,000 managers transfer him in this game week, meaning he's the 15th most transferred in player for Gameweek 15. Bednarek blanked in Gameweek 14 as he only got himself 2 points, but has scored a total of 56 points this season, which makes him the 7th highest scoring defender in FPL. Coming in at £4.6 million, his price has increased by 0.1 since Gameweek 1 and has a 5.5% ownership. Bednarek has proved that he is good value, but there is better alternatives in that Southampton defence, such as Kyle Walker-Peters or Vestergaard, who just offer a higher attacking threat over the long term. Also, Southampton has some very difficult upcoming fixtures, with one fixture with an FDR rating of less than 3 up until game week 26, meaning it is going to be quite difficult for that Southampton defence to get those clean sheets. So moving on to the third transfer trap, it's Wilfried Zaha. Zaha has seen 27,000 transfers in this game week, making him the 17th most popular player to bring into the squads. This is now the second time Zaha has featured on this series, and he only managed 2 points in game week 14, totaling a score to 78 for the season. His place on last week's transfer traps was justified, as this is now his third blank in a row. Zaha is coming in at £7.5 million, which has seen an increase of 0.5 since game week 1, and currently has a 21.7% ownership. He has recorded 7 goals and 3 assists so far, but has once again failed to return in the last 3 game weeks, meaning he has had a total of 8 blanks for the season. Also, the Crystal Palace system doesn't really favour Zaha against the top sides, as Crystal Palace like to sit back and give the opposition plenty of possession and then try and counter-attack, but it just means Zaha gets way less chances to try and put a ball in the back of the net. Also, Palace have some difficult upcoming fixtures, which include Villa, Leicester, Sheffield and Arsenal, so I'd say 3 out of those 4 are fairly tricky, especially for Crystal Palace. So now moving on to the next transfer trap, it's James Ward-Prowse. He has seen 35,000 managers transfer in this game week, making him the 12th most popular player to bring into the squads. This is also his second time on this series, as after having him as a transfer trap for Game Week 13, he only managed 1 point in Game Week 14. This means he has scored 67 points this season and is coming in at £6.3 million, which has increased by 0.3 since the start of the season. He currently has an 18% ownership and has compiled 4 goals and 3 assists so far, but 100% of these returns have come from set pieces, which is obviously not a very sustainable source. Also, with his difficult upcoming fixtures of one fixture with an FDR rating of less than 3 until game week 26, it may not be the best time to bring in Ward-Prowse, as he's just not a consistent performer and his fixtures are quite difficult. So now taking a look at the 5th and final transfer trap, it's Sadio Mane. He has seen 16,000 managers move him into the squads this game week and scored 9 points in game week 14, totaling a score to 69 for the season. This came about as he got himself a goal and an assist against Crystal Palace and is currently priced at £11.9 million, which has actually decreased by 0.1 since game week 1. Sadio Mane currently has a 7.6% ownership and has scored 5 goals and 5 assists so far. You could argue that in the Liverpool team there are better alternatives such as Mo Salah, who has scored 118 total points compared to Mane's 69. Overall, I would say it would be worth spending the extra money for Mo Salah over Sadio Mane, as this was highlighted in the most recent game week, as Mane played 60 minutes and returned 1 goal and 1 assist, but then Salah got subbed on for the final half hour and compiled 2 goals, 1 assist and 2 bonus points, beating Mane by 7 points for game week 14. So that's what we've got for today for the transfer traps of FPL Game Week 15. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, show support by liking and subscribing. And once again, share this video with your friends if you guys enjoyed. And with that being said, I'll see you lot in the next one.